Yo, we live? I think we're live. What's good, everybody, man? Shit, man, welcome back to episode, what are we at? Episode 27? I think this is episode 27, man. Shout out to episode 27. What's good, early gang? What's good, man? DX, man. DX always showing support. That's my guy for real. Sage was good. J17, Chris Main. How you doing, bro? Am I good? Yes, sir. I'm good, man. How about you? How's everybody doing this morning, man? Let's spill some coffee, says Timothy. CEO flex time. Hemorrhoid gang, stand up. You stupid, bro. Shit. So yeah, I mean, I'm lacking a little bit this morning. My alarm went off 4:15. I hit the snooze button all the way to 4:30. I got up, was about to brew some coffee, get ready to go work out. And man, I don't know, bro. I just felt like I got hit by a train. Like, I don't know. Like, I fell asleep a little bit later. Like, it was almost 11. So I know it sounds crazy, like, bro, that's later. But I've been trying to go to bed like 10:15 so I can wake up 4:15, get my 6 hours. But yeah, so I woke up and bro, I was like, yo, I can't do it today. So this is the first day I missed out. I've been going strong. This is my fourth week doing the workouts. I've been going strong Monday through Saturday, every day, waking up 4:15, going and getting the workout in. But today, man, I don't know. Like, I woke up, I had still a little creak in my neck or whatever you want to call it. It's a little, I don't know, I need a massage or some shit. And my back was a little fucked up and I was just super tired. Like, I was literally at the coffee pot, like, and I was like, yo, let me just go back to bed. So I said, fuck it. He said, oh no, Dylan caught the Rona. Hell nah. Have you always done just 6 hours of sleep? No, this is a new thing. This was a new thing. So this is my fourth week doing it. And I can't lie to you. It's definitely hard. It's harder than I thought. I'm so used to 6 to 8 hours that, you know, the transition to 6, which I know it'll take time to get there, but yeah. So I went back to sleep, and I went back to sleep for 2 more hours. So I woke up at like 6:30, and here I am. So I feel good though. I feel rested up. Like, I definitely woke up and it was nice and relaxing, like not having to go work out and stuff like that. But I'm excited to get back to it tomorrow. But yo, all that aside, we got a dope episode this morning, man. I'm excited for this. Shout out to Leno again for the alley-oop here. 6 is doable, 4 is deadly, says Leno. Yeah, man, Ryan Leslie said he sleeps like 3 to 4 hours a night though. And he said he's been doing that for like 20 years or some shit. That's crazy. So, I mean, if I could get to there, that'd be fire. It's nice only having to sleep 6 hours because you get 2 extra hours a day. So you get 14 extra hours a week. Multiply, what's that? 14 times 52. Let's see how many that is per year. Not to stay on this sleep subject. 14 times 50. Is there 52 weeks in a year? 728 hours divided by 24. So you're getting a whole extra month. You're getting 30 extra days a year. You're getting you get a 13th month if you can do 6 hours instead of 8, which is crazy. So, like, think about all the shit you could get done in those 30 days. You know, so I think it's worth it. I'm gonna try. I'm definitely about to keep at it. I can definitely do 6. I have noticed that I'm a little bit more off, maybe a little bit more stressed out. I even read a research thing that they said that people that get less than 8 hours tend to be more stressed during the day. So I'm gonna keep going, man. I'm gonna go, you know, until I can't go no more. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure after like 2 to 3 months in, I will be I'm sure after 2 to 3 months in, I'll be used to it by then. So we'll see. It's an experiment I'm doing right now. But yeah, man, all that aside, we got a fire episode today. Shout out to Leno for the alley-oop. Dacota G, man, if you guys didn't know, Leno brought David, Young, and Kim on, which was an amazing episode. It was amazing hearing his come-up story, his grinding with internships for years, you know, to eventually going on to winning Grammys and being head engineer for Hit Boy. Well, man, I hope I'm pretty sure today's going to be just as dope of an episode, man. We got a 4-time Grammy-winning engineer, Dacota G. He's based here in Atlanta, which I didn't even realize. So we definitely want to hear his come up story, man. We got him in the waiting room. I know a bunch of you guys had texted me back about getting into the live Q&A. So when it is about time for Q&A, you go ahead and get in there now if you can, let your phone or let your computer just chill in the waiting room. We will start the Q&A probably around like 55 minutes from now, depending on how long the interview goes. So we usually do about an hour interview, and then the Q&A starts. So man, there was some of you guys that submitted some really good questions, so I definitely want to get you guys in. I got to figure out how to organize it so I can make sure, because I figured, like, if I only send the text out to those people and I don't put it in the description of the video, then what if they don't show up, or what if then we don't have like too many people for Q&A, and I want to always make sure that you guys are able to come in for Q&A. But yeah, so shoot me a text too, because I'll have my phone. I'll be paying attention as we get closer to Q&A. Text me what your name is on Zoom. So if I texted you the Zoom link and you're on Text Gang, text me back what your name is in Zoom, and I'll make sure we get you in priority. But yeah, man, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get it. Dacota G, man.
Yo, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
Not much.
Are you able to connect the video?
Yeah, hold on one sec. All right, got you. We good?
Yo, yes, sir. What's going on, bro?
Chilling, man. Another day.
Yes, sir, man. We're excited to have you, man. One thing off rip, man, I noticed that you still work out of Parhelion mostly.
So we could address that first off. So I worked out of Parhelion starting in like 2016.
Okay.
And like Ralph is the reason why I'm where I'm at today.
Yeah, shout out to Ralph, man.
Ralph is the plug. Ralph is like OG Atlanta. Like, you name a song, he'll be like, oh yeah, I worked on that song. Oh yeah.
He's got a Grammy too.
Dude, Grammys. Ralph he's the man for sure. Like, that dude, I owe a lot to him and he knows it. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely been probably the biggest mentor to me throughout my career.
That's fire, man. Shout out to Ralph, man. He's definitely shown us a lot of love. I don't know if you know, I'm surprised we never ran into, because we actually we do the podcast at Parhelion, the ProducerGrind podcast.
For sure, yeah. I definitely see you guys pop up on the schedule.
Okay, bet.
I mean, I could already explain that now, but basically, so I worked out of Parhelion from 2016 to 2018 pretty consistently, but in 2018, I decided to move back to Rhode Island to help. My girl was finishing grad, and my brother, he got a football scholarship to University of Rhode Island. So I wanted to make sure that I was around for, those pivotal moments.
Right.
For me, the biggest thing is balance. I have to have balance in my life. It can't be all music. It can't be, all one thing. Everything has to be, you got to devote yourself to each thing equally. So I traveled back to Atlanta for 1 to 2 weeks every single month since 2018. From like September 2018, I got a place here where I'm at right now. And I'm actually, my girl and I got engaged a couple weeks ago, and we're moving back to full time.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So, things just come full circle. It's like, I think we all have a different path, and that's the real cool thing about, working on music. Everybody has a different story. It's like, there's not one proven formula for success.
100%.
I
definitely agree, man. But shit, man, let's take it all the way back. We're big on come up story here. So, I definitely want to, start from how you even got into music and stuff. And we don't want to skip over any details, man. We want the ups and the downs and the details of the grind, man. So let's get into it.
I got you. So my family, no one plays instruments. Nobody was really into music besides just playing music throughout the house. Like my mom would play Barry White, and you know, she's really big into soul music, so she'd always play that type of stuff. And then my older cousins they're the ones who got me into hip hop.
Okay.
But yeah, early on, man, like I'd say probably like 9, 10 years old, I started to write poems and start writing raps. And when I was 12, my parents got me like my first setup. I got like the Tascam, audio interface with the MXL,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. Like I was so excited to record. I remember they got it for my birthday. I was so excited to record. I remember they went to like a wedding one weekend and everything was in the closet. And I just went in, I set everything up before my birthday, before I was even supposed to get anything. Set it all, started trying to figure out how to record and stuff. But yeah, the bug just bit me early. And so it went from trying to be an artist from like 12 basically, and just trying to figure things out on my own. I think my first program I used was like Cakewalk. So figure out Cakewalk, then I went to like Cool Edit and Adobe Audition, all that type of stuff. And then, when I got into college, so from high school, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to Full Sail down in Florida or if I wanted to stay local. And at the time, like I was 17 when I graduated, and I was like, all right, I don't think I'm ready to leave Rhode Island just yet. So I went to the school called New England Institute of Technology, which that's where. So I got a background in video and audio from that school. They didn't have just like an audio program. So meanwhile, I'm still kind of rapping. And
so were you at this point like, I'm doing music, this is gonna be my career, no backup plan kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I was like, I'm telling my dad, like, yeah, I'm gonna get you a Rolex. Don't worry, like, like making promises I can't keep. But
yo, I still owe my uncle a car, man. I told him because he fucks with like old school Camaro. So I'm like, bro, I told him I'm gonna be a millionaire by 21. I got you. I'm gonna get you that Camaro.
Exactly. You gotta have the confidence to get you there. But yeah, like I don't know things. I was just always one of those types of people who was like infatuated by the internet and like all the things that you could do like in high school. So I was making music, but then I was also like really into like the forums, like the hip hop forums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I remember one of the forums I was on, like Mac Miller was on there, like on there really early, and I was trying to like make connections with DJs. I was an artist. So what happened was I ended up starting to wholesale mixtapes from DJs from all over the place. So I started building these connections really early on, and I'd wholesale the mixtapes. They sent them, like me and a few of my friends, we get the mixtapes wholesale, we sell them at school, stuff like that. Just just hustling, but at the same time, just trying to be a part of something. It was more so just like, it wasn't about just making like some quick money. It was more about, all right, I want to build these relationships, and I don't know what they're for, but I want to be in the mix with people. So
were you recording people like friends and stuff at the time too?
At the time, no, I really wasn't. It was really just me. Like, I grew up kind of in like I grew up half my life in the city, and then I grew up in like a beach town, South Kingstown in Rhode Island. So most of my friends were more so into like sports and all the other, you know what I mean? They weren't really into music like I was. So it was just a matter of, just kind of being a lone wolf and just like bringing people in throughout my journey. But yeah, man, I was always just trying to be of value to somebody for something, whether like I picked up Photoshop and just tried to start making covers and stuff, and all that, whatever I could do to like be involved with music.
Yeah.
Do it,
yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty much the beginning. And then I linked up with this DJ. His name was DJ Estax, and he would have me like reach out to people to do all the drops for his mixtapes. So I'd be reaching out to like managers and A&Rs, and I'd get drops from like Paul Wall and like all these people, like, you know what I mean? So it was bizarre, like to look back at it, but honestly, it really shaped me the direction I ended up going in, because I knew from early, like I said, I knew from an early age that I wanted to do music. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
there was engineering that was like my forte, but I knew that I wanted to be a part of, you know, the music. So flash forward like high school and like my first year of college, I started doing local shows and, you know, all that type of stuff. Getting my friends would be sick of me selling them tickets to, you know, come to this venue, come to that venue, whatever. So I graduated from New England Tech, the college I was at. Then I decided that I wanted to get a 4-year degree, but I wanted to, for whatever reason, I wanted like the degree to hold some weight. So I didn't want to go to just another technical school. So what I did was I found this school online called Middle Tennessee State University. So
That's where Take Keith went too.
For sure, absolutely. Take
Yeah.
Keith, A. Rashad. You know, there's Black Metaphors, a long list of people who, you know, came out of there, you know, for all different reasons. So I moved. So I graduated from New England Tech, and then like 3 months later, so I moved to Tennessee, and that was really the beginning of everything for me. Like I was always in at New England Tech when I was in school there. Like I met one of my best friends now, Aaron, and he was an artist, and him and his brother, they were like my first clients ever. I would just record them in my parents' basement, and we would do like 12-hour sessions. I would charge them. I would charge them by the song. I never charged them by the hour. Biggest mistake. Don't do it.
Yeah, I should do that shit too.
You know what I mean? Unless you have great people to work with. Yeah, I mean, shoot, me and Aaron, we had a great time doing it, but you know, it's just a matter of just believing in the music and stuff. And him and his brother, they opened up for a bunch of people. They opened up for like Schoolboy Q, Absol. The big show they did was Kendrick Lamar. So I remember it was really cool just to hear the music we made in my parents' basement in front of 5,000 people. You know what I mean? To be in a venue like that and like to hear that music, I don't know, it did something to me. So I was just committed. I was like, I gotta do this. Like I wasn't even close to like a decent engineer at that time. Like I thought I knew everything, but I knew nothing. You know what I mean? What I would do is I would take what I learned at school and I would just practice it over and over and over to try to get the fundamentals down the best I could. Because all I wanted to do was music. It was just 24/7. So yeah, when I got to Middle Tennessee, I met this girl Aya, who she was a producer, and she really like schooled me to, you know, making beats and stuff. She taught me Reason. I started making beats in Reason, and like all of my time was just consumed with meeting people who made music and working on music in college. And then I met my one of my great friends now, Goody, who he was from Chicago, and at that time, like he was putting me on to like Chance the Rapper, Vic Mensa, all these guys super early because they didn't come out yet. He was just from growing up in Chicago, he was just around a lot of people, and so he put me on, and he's a rapper too. So me and him just started working. Like we work on music all day, every day. We start, you know, we go to Chicago and try to, you know, get with the gatekeepers and just try to move the music the best we could, do shows in Tennessee, all that type of stuff. Like, and everything I did with him, we just did it out of, you know, for fun. We just did it for, you know, for the love. So that spawned me into like, all right, now we need to promote this music. So I started a blog called Hip Hop Herald. And I don't even know why I named it Hip Hop Herald. It was like the Miami Herald was the news. So I wanted to report on hip hop basically. So yeah, I started the blog, and like the whole thing was the voice of the unheard. So I was always looking for new talent that people didn't really hear. Like I wasn't posting, you know, mainstream artists that already got a lot of attention from bigger platforms. Okay. I was trying to find, you know, music that was under the rock, basically.
Yeah, like underground stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So through that, I mean, I ended up finding artists like Amine. He was one of the first artists that I found through Hip Hop Herald, and from that, I ended up building a lot of relationships. Like A&Rs, managers, publicists.
Wow.
It was crazy how fast that happened. But man, like I said, it's all a part of the journey. It was all for a reason. And I was committed. Like every day I would do a song of the day, video of the day, tutorial of the day.
Mm.
So I tried to make it somewhat exclusive. Like I didn't want it to just be promoting everything. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be like overload, because I know as a consumer, I don't like to sift through a lot of content. So I wanted people to just like, if you come to the site, you'll listen to those, you'll listen to that song, you'll check out that video.
Mm.
It's not overwhelming. So I did that. And then I interned for A3C out of Atlanta. And I did like media stuff for them, where I'd cover shows, I'd do write-ups, all that type of stuff. So through that, I met more people. And then once I got finished, I was finished with school, I was ready to, get into the workforce. And after school, you got to intern. That's what it is. Like for audio engineering, you intern. There's really, few ways around that. And most studios require school credit, or like you need to be like fresh out of college usually for like insurance purposes, stuff like that. But so yeah, I actually got really lucky too, because when I transferred, all my credits were crazy. And one of my professors, the head of the department at MTSU, really looked out for me, because I had came back to Rhode Island for the summer, and I was ready to move to Atlanta in September. Well, Middle Tennessee was like, hey, you still have X amount of credits that you need to get. So the head of the department really looked out for me. He figured out how to get more of my classes from my first school to transfer over. And the last class I did was the internship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it honestly, so many things in my life have just fell into place. Like I can't even express, how lucky I've been throughout the years. But so yeah, so I got back to Rhode Island, worked the summer, whatever, kept doing the music thing. Started
when you were in Atlanta, did you have like your own place, or what were your like living conditions in Atlanta?
So yeah, so what happened was, like I said, I was looking for internships, whatever, got a bunch of different interviews and stuff, and I ended up going to Silent Sound, which was the studio that I wanted to go to the most. It's, it just has a lot of history. It's a, full service commercial studio that a lot of A-list artists, Justin Bieber's, Usher, all those types of artists were recording there at the time.
Where?
So I got to Atlanta, I got an apartment and stuff. My girl and I moved down there, and it was just the grind. It was the intern grind. Each, like the studio had, I think it was like 8 interns. And when I got there, they were like, hey, just to let you know off the bat, there's no assistant position open, right? Nothing open. You're just here, just to get experience, and that's it. So, yeah, man, the internship is really what shaped me. Going through the internship is where I met more people, just from, being in the building. It was a reason to be there. And then the people I intern with are like, a lot of them are like my best friends to this day. And we feed each other work at this point. We're all at a point in our career where, our friendship also brings us value in the sense of, in work. So it's crazy how fast things move. But yeah, interning at Silent Sound was definitely shaped me, and it was my introduction to the music industry. Like I had never been in the studio from 1:00 in the afternoon till 1:00 in the afternoon the next day.
Yeah, damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember a session that I was doing. I was interning. It was snowing, and you know how snow is in Atlanta. People are like,
they freak out. Hell yeah.
People freak out. So I remember it was like maybe 5 a.m. It was snowing. They were like, oh, like, breakfast, but we don't want to send you out there. I'm like, I'm from the Northeast. This is nothing. Like, I'll drive in this, no problem. They're like, you sure? Right. want we don't want to get you hurt or anything. So, you know, just those types of sessions, they introduced me to what the music industry really was. Always heard about it in school, but then like when I was actually there and I was living on coffee to stay awake in the intern office,
Coffee
man,
gang.
for sure. Like I man, I'm telling you.
What type of stuff were you like? What were you doing? Was it like the basic stuff, like cleaning, running
Yeah,
errands?
for sure. So, you know, like our thing was we, you know, you get there for like 12, 1 o'clock if you're the day person, and, you know, you got to turn everything on, turn the rooms on. You got to clean everything. And then the hardest thing to do is when there's downtime where there's nothing to do, you got to make sure that you're doing something of value to the studio, because that's what you're there for. You're not there just to sit around and, you know what I mean, and just hang. You got to find something to do, whether it's, you know, wipe down the plaques, wipe down, you know, the top of the back shelf that nobody hits, like, you know, whatever you could do just to make people feel comfortable and, you know, be noticed. So
did you ever get like access to the studios? Was that part of like a perk?
Yeah, sure. So like the first, I think like 3 or 4 months, it was just like sessions. Like every time we'd be in there, it'd be a session. So we wouldn't have any access to the studio. But I think maybe around like my 3rd, 4th month, I started getting in the room during the day. If there was no session, you know, we get to go in the room, try to learn the SSL 4000 and, you know, practice, you know, play around, try to mix a song in there, record, whatever the case may be. But there was also what really helped me out was there was a mixing engineer in the studio too. So Miles Walker, he had a room in the studio, and he was always working on everything at that time. It was from pop stuff to hip hop stuff and everything in between. So him and I, like I always knew I always wanted to be a mixing engineer. I always just wanted to be a part of the you know, polishing the final product. So I started to develop a relationship with him, and eventually like he let me go in his room, and he'd set me up on his couch. I'd pull up my laptop. We'd do like team viewer, so I could just watch him mix and ask questions when it was acceptable, you know. And that was a big reason. He's the reason why I got to Parhelion, because my internship ended. Like I said, there was no assistant position. Actually, one of the assistants left, and one of my good friends now, Zach, he ended up getting the assistant position. It's crazy too, because he's from Rhode Island as well. So at the studio, like we had 2 people from Rhode Island, which is completely unheard of when you're in Georgia. Like the odds of that are crazy. And then we ended up living like right next to each other too.
Oh shit.
So
and you didn't even know each other before.
We didn't know each other at all.
Wow, that's crazy.
Crazy. So yeah, so from Silent Sound, I remember Miles was in like Vegas or something. He wasn't even there when I had my exit meeting, and I texted him, you know, just like, hey, like, thanks for everything. And he was like, hey, you know, I got this friend, you know, how about you go meet him and see if, you know, it's a good fit. And his friend was Ralph. So that's how I got to Parhelion. So, you know, I met Ralph, whatever, and, you know, we clicked, and he pretty much offered me like an opportunity to grow his operation. You know, it's crazy because like I hear about all the stories from, you know, my different friends all over, from, you know, like my friend David, who you just had on last week or whatever, saying that he had to intern for like 3-4 years just to get in that position. Right. Well, in Atlanta, it just so happened that the position that I got into was kind of like internship, but also assisting. So when I got to Parhelion, like I'd do intern things, but then I'd also sit in the room with the artists, and I would help, you know, set up, help patch, help, you know, get Ralph through his sessions, everything like that. So it was a a little bit of like a hybrid situation,
Okay.
you know? So I learned a lot just from sitting in the room watching Ralph, who, I mean, you've been to Parhelion, like you've seen all the things that Ralph's done. The man's, you know, worked on everything from Outkast to Kanye. Like it's
definitely. He's got some serious plaques there.
So just working under Ralph's wing and watching him work and just developing that relationship where when we had downtime, I could ask him questions. Like having a resource like that, man, it's invaluable. Like you can't put a price on it.
Right. And Ralph is so like cool and down to earth, like, bro, like, and he's just down to like talk and just, you know what I mean, like share his knowledge. So that's like a perfect person to intern for, I feel like.
Exactly. He just has such a laid back personality, and you know, I started out just doing, you know, I would just sit in on his sessions and help him out in any way I could, do food runs, all that type of stuff. Like, but what happened was he just trusted me. He trusted me so much that he just started sessions early on. Like 6 months I interned at Silent Sound. I was probably at Parhelion for like 3 months when he started throwing sessions to engineer.
So real quick, what were like some of those things that were crucial in the beginning months that helped you like prove you were serious and you were the right person for to get that promotion, do you think?
Man, I think it was really just my passion, really. Like he could tell that I was passionate, and I think he saw a little bit of himself in me at that point, and how you know, I just wanted to be there. I was so excited just to be there and you know, be a part of something and be a part of music, and whatever I had to do at that point, like I was just there, and like I think maybe, like I said, like 3 months into being at Parhelion, like I got keys to the studio, and he trusted me. You know what I mean? Like he really trusted me, and it just takes time. You know, you gotta build up that trust, and you know, show people that you have value. And like I said, man, everyone's path is so different, but for me, I'm really thankful to have the journey that I did and to meet Ralph.
Now, David Young and Kim, he mentioned, like, you know, when he was doing his assisting and stuff, like he would go above and beyond. Like if he noticed like the person's lemonade or whatever was low, he'd go and be like, "Oh, you want some more lemonade?" Were you like doing stuff like that, like going above and beyond?
For sure, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's tricky. You know how the A room works in Parhelion. Like when there's a lot of people in that room, it's hard to, you know, maneuver, you know, make sure that you're not you know, disrupting the session. So yeah, you try to clean around people whenever you can, whenever you get the opportunity. Like I said, the biggest thing is just making people's lives easier. You want to be transparent. You know what I'm saying? You're the fly at that point.
Fly on the wall, yeah.
For sure.
So it's you think it's an environment where like introverts will win versus like people that are like always looking to talk and start conversation and kind of like run the risk of like annoying the client kind of thing and the engineer?
Yeah. You know, I would say it's a balance, but yeah, like you don't want to be outspoken in a session with, especially when you don't really have value. Like you're a body there to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not there often, like say how great you are. It's not.
You froze up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little bit choppy. It's a little frozen.
Choppy. Hold on. Is it better?
It's kind of no. Now you're totally frozen.
Still choppy.
Let me see.
Let me do this. All right.
Check, gang.
Up real quick.
What are you on? You gotta switch up the Wi-Fi or something?
Yeah, I think it's. Hold on a sec.
It is pretty good now, but I don't know. It just for some reason it was great, and then all of a sudden it just got crazy. Maybe someone logged on Netflix in your house or some shit like that.
Bro,
I think you're good now, though. I think you're
good. You sure?
As soon as I said it, then it started acting weird.
Hold on, I'm gonna go on my laptop because I don't know, man. I got the Verizon, the gigabit, you know, the fiber optic. So
Oh man, you should be good then.
I'm saying I should be good. I gotta talk to my
Is it me? Let me see. It could. I mean, I'm on the
no, hold on.
I'm on the Ethernet. So
Got you. I'm gonna go on my laptop real quick.
okay, bet. Put that 5G on, says Big Brock.
Man. So well, I'll probably have to exit this one out, right?
Yeah, but I would join from your laptop first if you can.
Gotcha.
That way it doesn't. Let me see. I might have to. Oh, there you go. So now there's gonna be two of you. There we go. I'm gonna get rid of you on the top one.
All right.
Appreciate you guys in the chat for your patience, man. Xfinity Gang says Money Mad and Facts though. All right,
you see me now?
Yeah, I think we're good now.
My bad.
No, this is good. This is a lot better. But yeah, man. So we were talking about, you know, more being that fly on the wall. So it's like a balance, like you said. You don't want to be too outspoken. Like it's like, bro, who is this guy? But then you also don't want to be like, bro, who is this kid? He just sits here. You know what I mean? You kind of got to.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's somewhere in between where, you know, you want to be noticed for the right things, but you don't want to be obnoxious.
For sure. So yeah, man. Let me see. Let's continue the story. So you become you start getting sessions, right? And are you working like with big clients or just like you know, like the day-to-day clients?
I'm working with So I was assisting the main. Like I said, I was assisting for whatever came in, but the main project that we were working on at the time was Lloyd. We were working on the True album.
Okay.
And then like Big Crit would always be working. So those were the two artists that I'd usually be in with the most.
Okay.
But when it came to engineering, pretty much whatever Ralph threw me, I'd take it.
Got you. So you never were so I know you said you got into making beats earlier on, but that was never like something that you ended up pursuing.
What happened was I just realized I realized early on that I was around too many people who were so much better than me that I was like, I can't take away, you know, from what I'm doing with engineering and try to get my chops up on production. I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, that's good self-awareness, man. It took me a while. It took me a while before I realized, like, hold on, bro, you're good at all this other stuff. Like, you know, you're not as good as like you know, I got like my guys JB and Hez and them around me, and I'm just like, bro, they're shitting on me with the beats. But at the same time, I'm shitting on them with, you know, the things I do. So it's like, man, I might as well just focus on that and you know, stay in my lane. So so yeah, man. So what was like the natural so how long after you know, putting in that work until you know, like, you know, working sessions and stuff before it really started to pay off?
So this is where things get interesting. So like I said, I just built up the trust with Ralph, and whatever sessions that he had coming through, you know, I'd take. And some of them would be, you know, bigger artists, and some of them would just be local artists. It'd be a mixture. But what happened was when I was doing the Lloyd stuff, when I was assisting for the Lloyd sessions, his right-hand man, producer, songwriter, Jasper Cameron, he just took a liking to me. And pretty much one day he just hit me up and was like, hey, come to the studio early. Like, I want to cut some demos before, you know, before the session. So I'll just go in early. We'll cut some demos, whatever. And then I remember like one of the first times that we did that, the song that we did was Caramel, which ended up being Lloyd's single. And just from there on, bro, Jasper literally, he just told everyone about me. I can't even take, like, he literally told every A&R manager. My phone was just blinging, man. It was blinging. Wow. Like, the amount of people that called me that week after, you know, like I said, he didn't even know about that I could engineer, period. Because like through those times, I was just sitting in the room, just being of value to the situation to assist. And so then he started throwing me sessions and like bringing me in to work with artists that he was writing for. And doing that type of stuff. And then at the same time, this is actually where I'm linked up with Cato, because one of
Shout
my
out to
friends
Kato, yeah.
from school, um, my friend Daniel, he was friends with Cato. And I remember like Cato and I met maybe like 2014, 2015. I remember when I was it was A3C, and he was doing an event. My friend Daniel, we went over to his house at the time, and then went with him. He was DJing a set, so that was our first time meeting. But we didn't really have a relationship. So when I started finally getting a little bit more time, I hit up Daniel. I was like, "Hey, like, can you plug me in with Cato again?" And Cato just so happened to be working on this song called "Better Tomorrow," and I was just like, "Hey, like, I'll mix it for free, whatever. Like, just give me a shot." And
Mm,
so he let me mix it. I mixed it in my apartment on headphones. I remember
wow.
because he needed it ASAP, and like my girl was sleeping and stuff. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna throw my headphones on and and make it work." And so that was the beginning of that relationship too. So from there on, I pretty much became Cato's engineer.
Mm,
While I was also, like I said, working with Jasper and working with all of the people that he was working with. So I guess the key, the common story here is the producer. So
relationships with the
producers
producer.
producers set you up with a lot of different people because you never know who they're working with tomorrow.
Mm,
So it's a
mm.
good way to build a lot of relationships fast.
Yeah, that's interesting, man, because like, we've had conversations with producers where they're like, yo, knowing engineers has kind of been my cheat code, like, getting in with engineers and they kind of can throw me alley oops. But now you're saying like, because we always wondered like, okay, well, what's the way to provide value to the engineer? And you're saying it right here, by just reciprocating, doing the same thing, throwing them alley oops, like, yo, I know
For
such and
sure.
such, I can get you some, some work or whatever it is. Very interesting, man.
For sure. Absolutely.
So remind us. So I know you got a Grammy for the Childish Gambino "This Is America" record, but on
Right.
your news interview, you said you're a four-time.
So I don't know. So basically that song won four.
Oh, okay, got
You
you.
know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's quoted like many different ways, but yeah, so Jasper is the reason why I got those sessions too. So like right around that same time, 2017, mind you. So I started interning 2015 September. By like September 2017, I was starting to get these calls, and you know,
Yeah,
I the
so pretty
first
quick.
session I did, yeah, for sure. And like I said, everyone has a different path. It's crazy, from even the people that I interned with at the first studio, like we all ended up going different ways.
Yeah,
But yeah, what happened was I remember that first call I got from Donald Glover from his A&R at the time was probably like October, so things happen fast. The first session that we ever pulled up was This Is America.
wow.
So, and at that time it was just like I remember him saying like, "Hey, this is an idea that I've been working on the past couple years," type of thing. Like I kind of just he just kept going back to it and trying out different ideas. He At that point he had a hook and like the bridge done, but things changed throughout the process of the song for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, so walk us through that session. That story.
Yeah, so I mean, at that point I was so fresh, like, and this is the other part that I didn't mention. So remember I told you I didn't get the assistant job at the
Yeah,
studio?
yeah, yeah,
Well, the session was at that studio. So the first time I went back to the studio, I got to
yeah.
engineer.
That's fire.
So it was cool because like I had kind of lost touch with some of like the owner and stuff over there. Like I really, things just started moving. So the first time I saw him again, I was in the seat. So it was kind of cool just to be in that position. Um, but man, I was so green. Like I was so new uh, to engineering at that point, at that level, that I really didn't know what to expect from working with Donald Glover. And man, it was so easy. Like he was probably the most laid back client I've ever worked with.
I know I heard you say in the one interview, like, he came with his family, like, just
For sure, yeah.
exactly how he's portrayed is exactly how he was. There was no like, oh
Yeah,
damn, this is how he is in real life. It was just
absolutely, yeah. And the crazy thing too was like to that point, I mean, I knew some of his music, but I wasn't like a big fan of his at that point, you
hmm
know?
hmm
So it was just for me, it was just like any other gig in a sense. Like any any situation I go into, I just want to make a connection with the person first. Like I
mm,
know that you know, to certain people, you're this star, but we're all human beings at the end of the day. We need to just have that the first interaction with anybody you meet is always the most important,
right.
you know?
So
So it like with him, it was just like having a session with like your friend, just meeting someone that you've known already, you know?
so was it real conversational, or was it kind of you just kind of playing your
Yeah.
role? Or-
We were talking about things like remember he was like, "Man, I'm trying to figure out if I should get Netflix or like if I should get one of these things." And I'm like, "Man, your stand-ups on Netflix, like you don't even have Netflix yet."
right,
You
right,
know,
right.
so it was basic conversation.
Dope, dope. So what did that did you pull up like your effects chain? Did he have like certain stuff he wanted to use? What did that look like?
Yeah, I just pulled up like my recording template and we just went from there.
Walk
And
us through, man, because people want to know what that what your go-to recording template is.
no telling what it was at that time, honestly, because this changes all the time. But usually I tried to, I mean, my Ralph would always get on me about my recording template would always be like colorful and like, you know, he would always make fun of that. But the colors and stuff helped me move around faster. So at that time, I would just have, a recording bus that had like auto tune on it.
Okay.
Um, you'll have that inactivated, and then like an EQ, a compressor, and then I would have like my verse bus backgrounds, hook, and it would be basic stuff. It'd be like the Renaissance EQ. I'd use like this CLA 76. I try to always use wave stuff because when you go studio to studio, that's usually the common ground. Usually,
Yeah.
most studios will have waves because if
Uh-huh.
you have a template that has like some UAD stuff, some Fab Filter stuff, you never know what you're getting into. So it's best to just keep it pretty simple. But at that time, my template wasn't anything crazy. Like have like a few reverbs, a few delays. The biggest thing about recording is you just want to have the tools on hand so that you can move through as efficiently as you can. But you still want to get a quality. The most important thing about recording is actually that recording. That's the thing. You don't want to throw a bunch of plugins on when you're trying to get a great, dry signal.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people they kind of miss out on that because you know they'll have all these EQs and compressors doing all these different things, but they don't know what the original recording sounds like
Mm.
because it's going through their bus and through all the things that are processing the signal more. So it was pretty basic. I think on those uh, when I worked with him, we used 1176. Like I think it was 1073, 1176, and we used a Telefunken 251 microphone.
Word. I never even heard of that one.
That's the microphone at Parhelion. That's the
Oh,
one in
okay.
that room. Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
So
Yeah.
so definitely top tier microphone for sure.
Fire, fire. And then what about like, are you using like during the recording process? Are you using a lot of outboard gear, or is it typically like maybe just a compressor
And
or a preamp?
so yeah, in those sessions, like I said, I was so new. I didn't want to start trying to spread things out on the board and
Yeah, yeah.
slow down the session because the thing is like you're basically, like the artist, you're just there to capture the artist, right? So if you start doing things that slows down their creativity, that's when you're not really being of service.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Your job is to capture this artist performance and to in a sense, help coach them through it, when asked and when people ask for your feedback,
Yeah, man,
Part of
that's
the
big.
gig is psychology, it's just knowing who the client is and knowing how your relationship is with them, what you can say to them, because what you say to one person, you're not going to say to somebody else.
100%, man. I can relate to that. It just bringing back memories because I used to do some recording and stuff like just as like a side hustle, and I recorded
Okay.
like some artists for some artists full time and stuff. And I remember like I would learn a technique like on YouTube, and then like I would want to practice it when it was time to record. But I'm kind of like, oh wait, what was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to pull up? Taking all
Right.
this extra time, and like
Right.
sometimes they'd be like, yo, bro, what up? Like, just can you just hit the record button? I'm like, but I wanted to try this. Like, it's gonna be fire. And so yeah, it's like it's a balance. Like you gotta definitely practice that shit before it's game time.
For sure. It's funny you say that because I remember one of the first times that I recorded Lloyd, like Ralph he was at some release party and he was just like, oh, hey, like, you just record Lloyd. I'm going to be late. So I started recording him and I'm doing all these things. And Lloyd he was like, the delay is really dope, but you don't have to spend that much time on it.
Yeah, right.
I would just be trying to do extra shit that was unnecessary. And that's kind of when I learned, like, when you're recording, you want to get the idea for sure, but you want to, you don't want to stop the creativity.
Yeah. So back to the Donald Glover session, man. Was it just one session that you guys worked on that song, or was it like a
No, so
multiple?
I had a few sessions with him. So around that time, he was filming the Atlanta TV show.
Right.
So I'd work with him on Fridays, and I remember I had some things to come back home to, like some family things to come back home to, and I went back home, and because I hadn't worked with them the previous Friday, so I was like, all right, then like I guess he must be out of town for a bit or something. So I went back home to Rhode Island, and bro, as soon as I got to Rhode Island, they were like, hey, can you be at the studio at 1? I'm like, damn, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like that's just how things happen. And so um fast forward, I get back to Atlanta. The next week they don't work. I didn't end up seeing him again until like maybe 2, 3 months later.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you never know. But the biggest thing that I have to preach is, you can't. That's why I say you have to have balance, because you can't devote your life to one thing and not have the others. Because at that point, my girl had moved back to Rhode Island because she wanted to go to grad school, and like things were starting to pick up in my career. Like when I was in Atlanta, we both had that struggle moment where I would be like bar backing and interning, and we were keeping it together. But once she moved away, now like trying to have that distance relationship, and I was never around to talk to her. So that's when I started realizing, like, well, I'm doing all these things, but I'm just not happy. Like
Mm.
I'm getting all these sessions and I'm working with all these people, but like I'm not happy. I'm not where I thought I would be when I got these opportunities.
Mm.
And so for that year, I just commute back and forth to Rhode Island, and keep keep the relationships with my family, my girl, and my friends and everything. And I tried to make sure I was always there for big moments. And then when September came, I decided to move back to Rhode Island so that I could be around for, like I said, my brother's playing football and my girl's getting through grad school. So
And this was September 2018 or 2019?
September 2018, yeah.
Okay.
So September 2018, moved back to Rhode Island, um, and put up the home studio, and just traveled back to Atlanta like 2 weeks, 2 weeks out of the month for a year plus, just to keep things going. You know what I mean? Just to keep
Yeah.
things going. And I was so fortunate that um, a lot of the songs that I had worked on previously started to come out, and then This Is America came out, and that changed everything for me because I was able to.
That came out earlier in 2018 though, correct?
It came out, I believe it came out 2018. Like I want to say it came out like
early summer, kind of like.
Yeah, like maybe like April or May or something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so just off of that, I got a lot of attention, and I was able to really build up my clientele just to do mixing. So I pretty much throughout the months I just mix out of my room. I go back to Atlanta, record for 2 weeks, come back here, keep mixing, recording. When I be, you know what I mean? It was just one of those things because I know if like had I not made that sacrifice and came back, I don't think that, I don't think I'd be engaged now. I don't think like our relationship would have lasted much longer,
Wow.
and I wouldn't have been able to be there for important moments when my brother was getting his shine at at University of Rhode Island playing football. So
And just like, going back to that self-awareness stuff and realizing, like, so would you say you're more happy with the current lifestyle of like mixing for clients, through working through the internet versus like being full-time recording kind of thing?
so I would say this, right? The biggest thing for me was it helped me in the sense of business. I didn't have any structure to my business. I was just freelance, running, gunning. And
Yeah.
then once I got to a situation where mixing became my business, I had to start treating it like a business. And it really helped me just lock into realizing like I'm not just a hired gun for everything. I'm a business. I need to start treating myself like that and getting the website together, getting my LLC, starting the business bank account, keeping track of all of my expenses and income and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you know, like I
Yeah,
said, like,
you don't want to push that shit off. It makes it so
for
much
sure,
harder.
definitely not, definitely not, definitely. And Cato is definitely a big proponent to why I even got to that point where I got my affairs in order because he'd preach to me like, you don't want to be in trouble with the IRS. You don't want
Man,
to, you know what I mean? You want to have
I'll just say I've learned the hard way, man. I've
for
learned the
sure,
hard way.
yeah,
I didn't get in trouble, but there was definitely a lot of late fees, and that shit is,
for
whoo,
sure,
that shit is more than you think, boy. That shit is crazy. Just so you
for
guys know,
sure.
that's why I try to preach to all the new guys I add to the team. I'm like, yo, you're making money now. Learn from my mistakes, bro. You
For
know what I mean?
sure. Like when all the 1099s would come in at the end of the year from all the work I did, I'd be like, oh shit, you know, there I didn't realize I made that much with this label. Like the
Yeah.
taxes, they catch up to you for sure.
And you're like,
So
damn, I spent that money, but I got to send in this much. What the fuck?
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, man, it was just like I said, it's a different path. Like I've just taken a different path and I'm excited to get back on the ground in Atlanta because although I've done so much being away and just coming back and forth, there's been opportunities that I really wanted to take that I couldn't because
Okay.
I wasn't there full time. But you know, shoot, without the decisions that I made, it wouldn't have brought me to this point.
Yeah,
So
and it seems like, you value, like, you're not just this like workhorse. Like, you have values. You value
right.
family. You value, your relationship and stuff like that. And it's
For
like
sure.
you gotta balance that kind of stuff.
For sure, yeah, exactly. Like none of us are a machine. Like, like one of the people that I always looked up to was Dave Pensado, and like he talks about in his book, he talks about how they'd call him hard drive because he'd just be, working himself to the bone, and then he started having a lot of health issues and things
Mm,
from that lifestyle,
yeah.
and even with Ralph, like Ralph had cancer at one point, and
Oh
he
shit, I
attributed
didn't
a
know.
lot of it to just the lifestyle and eating bad food, not taking care of yourself. And knowing about that early on, I knew that I could easily fall into that trap.
Yeah,
But I had to make sure that I prioritized, the
I get
things
it.
that were important to me.
I get it, bro. But yeah, I mean, so let's talk about, getting your business in order, and starting to venture into, doing mixes and stuff like that. What were some of the things that were crucial in promoting that and getting clients? I know a lot of it you said was word of mouth.
For sure. Actually, the first like mixing gig I got Like the first major label mixing gig I got was through Kato doing Jaron Benton's Yuck Fu album.
Okay, dope.
And it's funny how that worked because I think I did that in 2017 or 2018. But I did it at Parhelion, but I know you guys are all early gang on here, so I figured I'll tell you guys a story. So
Let's go.
every day, Big Crit he was working on his double album, so he'd come in around like noon, 1 o'clock. Him and Micah would come start working, and so what I would do is I'd wake up. You know how traffic is in Atlanta. Traffic hits at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'd go to the studio every morning at 5 a.m. and I'd work on the Jaron Benton album because I
Mm,
wanted to mix it in the A room. So
mm.
I go to the studio. This is probably for like maybe like a month straight and mix that album. And every time when I hear it now, I'm like, damn, I can't believe that. Like, you know, I've never told this story. I was just listening to it the other day, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I ever told anybody I mixed this project at like 5 a.m. at Parhelion.
At 5 in the morning. So were you doing full like mixing the beats as well, or was it just two
Yeah,
tracks?
for sure.
Dope.
Yeah, I was mixing everything. So, you know, we recorded some of the songs at Parhelion, and then Kato and Jaron did some of the songs elsewhere. And you know, Kato would just send me the stems to the beats and the vocal sessions, and you know, we mix them. And working with Kato real fast, you learned like the things that he liked and the things he didn't like. And that project, I think, was the moment when I really got to learn what Kato, you know, what he prefers as a producer.
For sure. No, most definitely. Yeah, Kato's dope, man. Were you at that album release party they did here
Yeah,
in Atlanta? Okay, I was
absolutely.
there. We just didn't know each other. That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. We definitely been in the room together
yeah.
at the Korean spot, right?
Yep.
Yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
during 2018. Yeah, man. Shit seems like it was. Now we're talking 2 years ago. That shit seems like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
Um,
I know, man. Time flies for
yeah,
real.
definitely, bro. So I see. So I want to talk about more of this business stuff, and then I definitely want to talk about some technical stuff, and then we got to definitely get the guys in here for Q&A. But let's talk about, because we had just found out about Soundbetter.com actually during one of the episodes a couple weeks ago. Someone had called in from Early Gang and had brought it to our attention, and I see you seem to be doing well. You got a lot of reviews on there. How is that platform? Would you say it drives a lot of business?
Man, Soundbetter is like really hit or miss. Honestly, I really haven't had too much success on Soundbetter. More than anything, I've had friends who have had a lot of success, and they were saying like have your clients, you know, drop comments and stuff like that. So that's you're seeing a lot of my clients dropping comments, not as much so as what I got through Soundbetter. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But yeah, my friend Matty Harris, he kills it on Soundbetter. He's always got a million people you know, commenting on his stuff. And I think really it was a matter of getting in at a certain time. Like if you got in at a time when Sound Better started to really blossom, you were gonna be because to get like the I forget what they call it, it's like a premiere kind of page.
Okay.
You have to apply for it and their vetting process takes so long that I think I really missed the boat with Sound Better. But you know, I definitely will get messages every so often from Soundbetter. I don't know that it's the best platform for engineers. I think a lot more like I've seen like one of my friends literally lived off that, the money he'd make off that from producing. So, you know, I think
Dope.
it all depends. You know, it all depends on what people are looking for at that time.
For sure, for sure. No, yeah, I had to ask you about it because, like I said, we
For,
had just found out about it,
for
and
sure.
when I had Googled your name, it was one of the first things that popped up. So I'm like, oh yeah, we definitely gotta talk about this.
That's really funny you said that.
So what are some of the most important first action steps for someone wanting to get better at mixing, or go down the engineer path?
Man, the biggest thing is learning the fundamentals. Learning gain staging is like 99.9% of everything.
Hmm.
Just properly gain staging thing. I think that people get they just get too excited and want to get to the end before they even start. You know, like the hardest thing to do is start the mix, and the
Okay.
easiest thing to do is the middle. And then you know, because you get in that zone and you know what you're doing at that point. But the biggest thing is for me is gain staging properly. Don't like I'll pull in references, but I don't compete with overall level. I want to compete with, okay, where does, so like I'll take my reference, I'll turn it down like 4 dB, and I'll listen to where things sit in the stereo spectrum, like sonically, you know, how the tones of certain things are shaped, and try to emulate that within my mix, because I don't want to compete with overall volume as much. I want to compete with the mix, you
Hmm.
know. So I think a lot of people just kind of get hung up on like, damn, like I gotta throw these delays and these reverbs on and all this stuff, and I gotta make it really loud. So I'm gonna crush it with the limiter, and you know that's cool and all, but in the end, you're just gonna have a really, you know, you're gonna have that pumping, unpleasant final product that you know is not really what you desire to have. So, gain staging properly, making sure that you know I'm a big fan, and like the artist has to be heard, the vocals have to be, I need to know what the artist is saying.
Hmm.
So I'll clip gain my vocals to make sure everything, you know, is pretty uh, level for the most part. And then from there, um, I know that like that's the level I'm gonna keep my vocals at. I'm not gonna keep every time I add a plugin, if I add a compressor, add an EQ, whatever, I got to make sure I bring it back to that original level. I don't want to keep turning up, you know, the
Hmm.
vocals. Like from the jump, I'm going to work into my stereo compression. I'm going to work into anything I have on my stereo chain that's going to be on there in the end early on, so that the sound isn't going to dramatically change if I mix the song and then I start adding that stuff on after the fact.
Hmm. Very interesting, man. As far as like people that want to get a good sound working from home, what are some must have equipment and techniques for getting good audio at home?
So I think like right now is a crazy time because there's so many great inventions and tools. Like my guy from Aftermath just sent me the chaotic eyeball,
Word.
and shout out to Paul. But just to have like you can have a you know a prosumer microphone being like a whatever, like a Bluebird, or like a you know Audio Technica. You could have one of those middle of the line microphones and have something like a chaotic eyeball to shield your room, so that, because treating a room is expensive. That's the most expensive part of the studio usually, like proper
Wow.
sound design. So having something like the chaotic eyeball where you don't have to worry as much about trying to treat the room, you know, you could be in different settings, and you can still get a quality recording. I think that that's really valuable, and just making sure that you gain stage properly, making sure that you check the preamp all the time, that you make sure that if it's a more aggressive part, you turn it down some. If it's a softer part, you turn it up. You
While
know
the
what I
recording
mean?
kind of thing.
While you're recording, exactly, because a lot of people just set it and forget it, and
Yeah.
then you'll get the stems to mix, and it'll be like, well, you know, this part's kind of distorted, this part's like super low. You know what I mean? So I think it's really just doing the research, and having good resources out there, like you know ProducerGrind, stuff, that
A
places where you can go see how professionals and the people that you look up to actually do things. You know, reinforce what maybe you already thought.
most definitely, man. Most definitely. What about as far as what are your go to monitors? HS8s or
So you'll see the monitors I have here. I have the Shapeshift 65s by Focal,
okay?
which I started out with the HS8s, and then I upgraded to the Focals maybe like a year or so ago. So I think, man, I mean, I love the barefoots like a Parhelion,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, not all of us have that kind of budget. So
They're like what, like 10 grand a piece, or not a piece,
yeah,
but for the
yeah,
set?
for sure. The set's like 10, 12 grand for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ralph loves those things. Him and Toomp talked about those speakers for like 20 minutes when we did the Toomp episode.
Oh yeah, for sure. For
And it's
sure.
fire how you can, like, I didn't even know you can turn them to like the
Flat and cube.
NS10. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
for
That's
sure.
fire. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, those monitors that's definitely the goal for sure. You
Word.
know, you got to show
Okay.
some respect to somebody when they had those in their studio.
Right, now facts though. Yeah,
You
it's like
know,
you know they're serious.
for
What are
sure.
some of the biggest mistakes you hear producers make in their beat mixes?
That's a great question. The main thing I would say is that whole trying to make shit way too loud, like just clipping the hell out of everything where, there's not even space for a vocal.
Okay.
Um, you know, gain staging is the key. Like listen to the songs that you really appreciate and you really like the sound of, turn them down a little bit and focus on trying to get your sounds to, you know, to fit that same model as the songs you look up to. And the other thing too is pick good sounds. A lot of people will just start with bad samples, and you could process the hell out of them, but like they're still not going to be good. Whereas there's so many kits out there, there's so many resources out there where you could start with sounds that are pretty much mastered and ready to go, where you don't have to do a lot of carving and compressing to make sound good.
Definitely.
You
Definitely.
know,
Cool, man. Let me just make sure I yeah, man, I covered everything I needed to cover, man. Let's bring some folks in for Q&A. So, I had told you guys to text me if you wanted, cuz there was a couple of you guys that asked some good questions, and I had said text me your name on Zoom. Let's see. Let me see here. Let's see who we got in the Zoom. Okay, let's get Steez in here, man. Steez always asked he asked the great engineering questions last time, so let's go ahead
hey, perfect.
and get him in
That's
here.
what I like to hear.
Yeah, he loves the technical stuff of it. He came in during the David Young Kim episode.
Yo,
They were talking, it's like they were
What's going on,
talking
man?
a foreign language to me.
yeah. Yo, can you hear me?
Yo.
What's going on, man?
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm like 30 minutes into being up, but feeling good, man.
There you go.
Hey, fuck, hold on.
Coffee gang.
Coffee gang, bro. What was I gonna ask? Fuck, dude, I have a few questions for you, but I'm gonna keep it short. So, one of them, where do you kind of stand with the LUFS conversation, bro?
A great question too. So I always shoot for like -8.
Can you guys explain what this is? What LUFS is?
LUFS is basically just the metering system that streaming uses.
Yep.
That's it's just like decibels. It's just a
Okay.
different
Like a different
Measurement.
meter that they read off of. It's like a
Different
median
measurement.
that catches the high and the low.
Right. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably could be doing better, but I'm still trying to catch on to the sweet spot in the LUFS game like that.
Exactly.
I'm still just pushing to be. I'm still pushing to try to get my mixes as full and loud as I can without distorting them.
Fact.
If Spotify is going to turn things down, it's not going to be forever.
Yeah.
Do you use that punishment plugin? You know what I'm talking about?
I use
Where they tell you like if the platform will punish this volume or not. You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen those, but I've never really had much help with those. But I have the TC Electronic, the Clarity.
The Clarity M?
What's
Yeah,
that?
so I use
The
that.
monitoring screen video thing?
Yep, exactly. The screen.
Okay.
Is that the Clarity M?
Yeah, the Clarity M. So it's
Yeah,
just a plugin that you throw on at the end of your stereo chain, and then it connects to the screen, so you can see where things are hitting.
Yeah, bro. The only reason why I ask is, I mean, it's exactly what you said. Like, all of this shit really just kind of started to come into place, I would say, more and more within the last 3 years. And it's like, it's exactly what you said. There's a sweet spot between that like -8 and -13 LUFS area. But then it's also like, as producers, as well as like mixing engineers, when you put on that hat, you're like, all right, fuck, bro, I got to saturate this bus now. I got to like limit this, and I got to like raise. And it just like, it's a weird thing because like at the end of the day, once you hit upload, that reference that you're like, when you're like being on Spotify, what you're referencing, it's not even like true, because once you upload it, it's already going to squash it down.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, honestly, I keep the normalize off on my Spotify. I listen to things like as they're truly uploaded.
Wow. That's a serious gem, bro. I've never heard anyone say that. That's real.
For sure. I went through the same thing where I like listen to the mix, and then I hear it on Spotify, and it just be different. So
wow,
you know, I think it's just a matter of we'll gradually figure out ways to work within whatever the you know, the arrangement that Spotify has for what they're. I think it's like low end. They let like all the low end pass through, but like when you push the high end too much, then they, you know,
they start to dip it down.
They start to basically like, you know, normalize it and bring it down.
Is Apple Music do the same thing, or is this we're just talking?
Yeah,
Spotify?
They all have their own different one, is what I know.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's definitely complicated, you know, but it's not going to be forever. So I don't think that we should really change the way we work.
Yeah, because I had a client that was basically like, he heard one of my beats on SoundCloud, and he was just like, yo, the mix is fucking lit. Like, this is he was just saying amazing things. And then like also he was like, yeah, dude, it's like so much louder on SoundCloud than it is Spotify. And it's like one of those things where like you hear that as an engineer, no matter like, even if there's like a fucking law put in place where your mix touches it and it gets quieter, you're just like, what the fuck, dude? I wanted to ask you too, while I got you on, or while I'm on here, where do you see like certain elements in the mid side? Like for instance, like a lot of the time, like I'll throw like a mid side band and like throw a lot of like some of the hi-hat energy, some of the crash energy on my sides. Is there, I guess what I'm trying to ask is like, without trying to like just take the easy route and like push it through an imager and stereoize it, like what type of elements do you find yourself throwing in the mid versus side where you're like, yo, this is giving me depth, this is giving me like image that's not left and right? Because I feel like it's really easy to overdo mid side.
I feel you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really do too much mid side on my mixes, but the biggest thing is, you know, you got, you know, your panning is right to left and front to back. So
yeah,
obviously your reverbs are gonna set things closer and further away, as well as the gain staging. So just playing around with that more than trying to make major moves with mid side.
That's real. I feel like I got like a little bit of the wind on like some of like the side shit, and I was like, yeah, my crash is like trickling onto the side, this is sick. And now I'm like, is that even like too, like, am I going OD with it? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone has the answer. It's a matter of like I always base everything based on emotion. If it makes me feel a certain way, if this change makes me feel like this emotion is more enhanced, then it's probably the better decision. I should probably keep it. If it doesn't sound like it really did anything, what's the point of even moving it?
Bars. Last question. I'm gonna hop off. One, Focal Gang. I got a pair of the Alpha 80s. I was rocking a pair of Shape 65s and 50s. The fucking Shape series is fucking lit. The Shape Twins, I don't know if you fuck with those, where it's like the dual with the fucking the extension subs on the side.
Yep.
Those shits are crazy. I wanted to ask you, when you're gain staging, I find myself going, I used to go -12 and kind of bring it up. And now, I mean, I've been fucking producing for like 10 years and mixing for like 6 years at this point. Now I'm a little bit more comfortable about -6. Does that sound pretty accurate for you? Or are you like -6 bringing it up from there? Are you like -12 gang? As
far as you talking about DB?
Yeah. Just like the starting and then bringing it up to where you're, that game.
I'm these days I'm just all LUFS. Like I just monitor. All of my metering is LUFS based. So I'm always trying to hit. Like you got to remember that low end is going to eat up your headroom the most. So if you confront that from the beginning and you basically set the level for the whole entire track. You know what I'm saying? So my process to mixing is I'll do main instrument and vocal. I'll mix those together, and then I'll start introducing my low end because I know that that's gonna eat up all the headroom for the most part, and then I'll work from like high frequency down.
Is there some good LUFS tutorials out there for people to kind of get a grasp on that? Do you know of any?
I mean, I think it's really there. A lot of it's like I'm sure there's stuff on YouTube, but a lot of it is just I feel like it's like Spotify and the different DSPs, they have like their FAQ pages that kind of talk on it.
Okay.
Speak on what their protocol is.
I just know that like on all the websites like Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, like they all say what their fucking loudness goals are, the LUFs, like they're very like transparent with it. I think the bigger tutorial that like, I mean, I still go back to like metering, like my Insight, Isotope Insight 2 metering tutorial, just to like make sure that I'm reading my numbers correctly and understanding them. Cause I feel like that's the biggest thing. Motherfuckers are transparent. They just like don't know how to read it. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, knowing your tools and then, trust your ears. At the end of the day, you got to trust your ears because the meter might say one thing, but your ears say another thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. I wish that was like the best way for me to end this convo, but I'm gonna just ask one more question, bro, because you really have been like dropping some serious gems. Low key, I know this is like such a corny question, but like, do you have like your favorite limiter, like your go-to, like, yes, this is what I'm about to fucking smash it with?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my chain is pretty much like SSL compressor, just barely touching it, doing like a dB, 2 dB tops compression, Oxford limiter.
Sick.
I use the Bax EQ, the master EQ by UAD.
Yep.
I'll use the K-Clip by Karasog.
Okay, cool.
I'll switch between the Vitamin from Waves and the what is it? The Massive Passive.
Okay.
And then
Massive Passive's hard.
The end of my chain is always the Ozone 8. And then sometimes I'll use the Sir Audio clipper if I need to get just a little bit more out of it.
Damn, bro. I appreciate you. Dakota, Dylan, y'all are amazing, bro. I'm gonna be in here tomorrow. For real. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, man, my pleasure.
Appreciate the good questions, bro.
Yeah, man. Peace.
Yes, sir. Cool, man. So I got a couple of you guys had texted me. Let's get Droppa in here, man. Droppa Drop. Dylan looks zoned, absorbing everything right now, says 4.
Yeah, sorry, let's do it.
Droppa Drop.
How you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. What's going on, man?
Dylan looks zoned, absorbing everything right now.
Oh, can you mute that? Can you mute that YouTube in the background?
Can you see me?
Droppa Drop.
Nah, we can't see.
I'm trying to.
Here we go.
Boom.
There we go.
All right, cool.
Can you mute that YouTube bit?
Yeah.
Can you see me? Droppa Drop. No.
My bad.
Yeah, we can see. Oh, I know that was probably the video.
Yeah, Here we go.
Damn, Drop is the first time I ever seen you with the facial hair, man. Real
My bad, my
quarantine,
bad.
real quarantine lifestyle.
Okay. So yeah, man, I'm looking rough. I'm not even, but it's all good. So I'm actually like, I gotta ask him, man. There's like, I'm a certified audio engineer, but I'm a self-produced artist first.
Okay.
I came out of my engineering class not feeling like I came out of that not feeling like I could run a session. I genuinely believe being an engineer is one of the most stressful positions you can be in. Would you agree?
I mean, I'll put it this way. It can be, but it's like any situation when you're underprepared in a sense. Like if you go into a situation and you don't know what you're gonna get, and you're not confident in what you're doing. That's why the reps are most important. Like the practice, schooling. I'd say I'm like mainly self-taught, and then the schooling pretty much gave me fundamentals and it gave me the reinforcement, because there are so many resources where you can learn things, but to have that resource to say, hey, this is the way you should probably do it, and this is, you know what I mean? To be able to filter that information. But, I mean, engineering totally can be stressful, absolutely, depending on the personalities that you're,
Like,
in the room with and everything like that.
I noticed, like, when I was gonna ask you, when you were first coming up trying to get in with maybe not so huge artists, there is kind of an attitude of like, and this is what I always struggled with trying to be the engineer. There's kind of an attitude of like, and you are in there to serve the artist. That is your job.
For
But
sure.
sometimes I would kind of feel like you're kind of like, I don't want to call it like the bitch or whatever, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes the respect isn't there. Like, did you experience a lot of that coming up?
I mean, I would say at the end of the day, you got to pick and choose who you work with.
Right.
If you're in a situation you feel like that, you probably shouldn't work with those people.
Exactly. That's what I was just talking to my buddy the other day. Like, people that have made it to where you are at, like, I give them so much props, because that is, you probably I can only imagine the pressure you had to endure, like just even just weighing out the artists to work with, and the people that were worth your time. And like when you got that, when the Grammy thing happened, was it like a light switch? Did that change your life overnight, or was it kind of just like, heh?
I mean, I wouldn't say it changed my life overnight. It's one of those things that every step of the way, you don't think about what you're doing or what you've done. It's validation,
Right.
Each step of the way you put another notch in your belt. And you can't bask in the moment. You just, you appreciate it and you kind of move forward. But, it's like, from being an intern, you just want to be an assistant. For being an assistant, you just want to be the person in the seat. For being the person in the seat, maybe you want to be, a mixing engineer. Then you want to be, an A&R. You want to be, you want to have a production label. Like, it's just always striving for more. And, I think the further that you get, the more you're able to do things that you wanted to do originally, but didn't have the resources to do it.
Right. I know Steez was talking all this crazy technical stuff, and I'm talking more like the complete opposite end of stuff. But
it's good. Good end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I appreciate it all for sure. I'm honestly, a lot of times when I'm working on music, I black out. I couldn't tell you all the things that I'm doing, because I swear something just takes a hold of me, and I'm just zoned out. So I don't discriminate in conversation. If you want to get technical, you want to talk business, you want to talk psychology, whatever it is, I'm happy to talk it all, man.
Dope. Yeah, you definitely hit that zone you get in the moment. I didn't even know you were doing the long distance thing, so I didn't even know this question was going to be there. But when did you say you still are doing the long distance thing from Rhode Island, or are you here in Atlanta?
Yeah. So like I said, I commute back and forth to Atlanta and LA. And, basically from doing that, I was able to still nourish the relationships that I had and, you know, like things work out. My girl and I got engaged. We're moving back to Atlanta.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
In the top of August, and you know, she just got her master's in her CAGS in school psychology. So, you know, we're excited just to get back out there and you know, pick up where we left off.
Absolutely.
Yo, one thing I want to bring up for the long distance. So I found like before I lived in Atlanta and I was coming down here like once a month type shit, like I was I wanted to maximize. Like I didn't want to be in the hotel. I'm like, bro, like I'm texting like anywhere I could be, I wanted to be. But now that I've lived in Atlanta for a couple of years, it's like home, and I barely want to leave the house. Like even before quarantine and all that shit. Like I'm like people are like, yo man, I'm coming down to Atlanta for this week, man. Let's work, and I'm just like, yeah, all right.
Right.
But
hey man, Atlanta's special in that sense. There's not that many places that you can have that feeling because. I mean, it's where a lot of people aspire to go.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I was going to bring up, like with the long distance thing. And I'm sure, and Dylan, I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Once I finally got down here, man, my friends would be like, yo, bro, I'm coming into Atlanta right now. And I'd be like, thanks for the heads up, bro. But and they'd be like, no, drop what you're doing. We're hitting the studio.
Right. I want to book sessions, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
Like, all right, like, okay.
I'm like, shit, now I gotta get up from my chair, you know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But
and it's like I got all these relationships, that we built through the podcast and stuff, and I don't take advantage of them. I don't go pull up on people, but I feel like if I didn't live in Atlanta and I was coming down here once a month, I would probably be doing that.
Right, you probably
appreciate it more. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I know that's how I felt once I finally got down here. I definitely take all my relationships I've made here for granted. If I wasn't living here right now, and I'm actually slightly debating like moving up to Tennessee and starting to just because it's a 3-hour drive, but I honestly think that might make me value the connections I've made here a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Bro.
But
and you'll want to move back.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I will want to move back.
Weigh your pros and cons.
Is that where you're at with it right now? You probably want to like move here again, huh?
I mean, yeah, for sure. In the sense of, where I'm at now and where I was when I left are two completely different places. I know that like when I'm back in Atlanta full time, that the opportunities and the things that I can do there professionally outweigh what I could do remote professionally. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. You got to weigh your pros and cons, and you got to do what's best for you.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. Absolutely. Dude, I think it's amazing. Like anyone who has made a Grammy in music, period, that's amazing, man. So I just want to say thank you for, sharing gems with us and coming on the show, bro. Like what you do is truly a science. And there are a lot of people in this music shit that really don't understand. Engineering is a science and an art, bro. Like that you need 10,000 hours, and I think in engineering you need a little more to master it. Like that's a hard one, man. So you have my props, 110%, bro.
It's like anything else, you got to put your time into it, and hopefully you get better and not worse over time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think I'm gonna keep trying the engineering stuff. I'm an artist first. I'm getting more into the technical side of stuff with producing. Like, and actually, you were touching on the sound, like your sound choices. I've been doing this thing with production where I'll hear like a shitty clap, but it'll have like a sound, a frequency that appeals to me. And I'll try and I'll be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna put Rough Rider on it, or I'm gonna compress the shit out of it and see if I can make it slap. But I've been kind of doing that lately. That's kind of not what you believe in, right? You're like just quality.
I mean, if you can, sometimes it's more than one sample too. Sometimes maybe you just take, you roll off a lot of the other stuff that you don't like, and you keep what you do like, and you mix that in with a sample that, probably is fuller and cleaner than what your what that original sample that you choose is.
Right.
But sound choice is a big part of it, man. A lot of people just gotta learn how to just use better sounds because there's no excuse at this point. There's so many resources.
Facts, man. That's so true, man. I know once I get off, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna have to think of 18 questions I didn't ask. But yeah.
DM me, man. DM me for sure.
I definitely will, man. My name's Droppa, by the way, with a 0. So
Hey man, nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you, man. I don't want to be the Dylan. We got other people in here waiting to ask some questions.
Oh yeah.
Let me get out the way then.
All right, drop him in.
You guys.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Cool. Let's see. We had Sterling George. He had texted me. Let's get him in here. You got some time for some more Q&A, Dakota?
Of course, man. Whatever you guys want to do.
Dope. Appreciate you, man.
Back to the grind after this. So
facts. Sterling George, you there, bro?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, bro?
Oh man, I'm blessed, man. Good to hear you. Hold on 1 second. Let me get the video. Is it echoing?
Nope. But if you do got the YouTube video on the background, just go ahead and mute that. We can hear you, can't see it, just so you know.
That's weird as fuck. So I have my camera on. All right, well, fuck it, man. What's up, you guys, man? Thank y'all so much for y'all's time and everything, man. That's dope.
No problem, bro. Yes, sir. Early game.
So my question, man. So I am an artist by engineer myself. And I'm trying to see, like, what would you say are, like, the most essential things to kind of understand or to, like fundamentals when attacking engineering yourself, in your home studio and trying to get that best quality sound when your room may not be the most acoustically treated or you may not have the most expensive mic,
Reference for sure. I mean, just reference and, learn your speakers, learn your microphone, learn, your equipment, learn your tools. That's the key. And then fundamentals, learn how to gain stage, learn how to, panning, EQ, compression, and then you can get into the time-based stuff like delays and reverbs. But just you want to, from the beginning, you want to get the fundamentals down. That's really the key. And like I said, take things that you like and that sound great to you in all different environments, turn it down to a level that you can compete with, and learn how to manipulate the sounds to emulate what you're hearing.
When you're referencing, so you actually bring in an MP3 into Pro Tools, and I heard you say you turn it down 4 dB, and then I assume you don't let it go through the master. You bypass the master, or?
Okay.
So what I use is this tool. It's a plugin called Metric AB by Plugin Alliance.
Okay.
And you can put in as many. I think it's like something like 8 or 10 references, and you can set cue points and stuff. So what I'll do is I'll set cue points where maybe there's a part where it's just the music, maybe there's a part when like the initial drop, so you can hear the loudest point of the song, you hear the vocals, hear everything working together, and I'll just kind of go back and forth and compare where things are sitting and where things are sitting in my mix versus the mix that I'm referencing, and I think that also helps a lot when you're in different rooms too. If you're in, one studio one day and you're in another studio the next day, you're not going to learn the room in one day. You know what I'm saying? So playing references that you're familiar with in different spaces, how things sound different from, this room to that room.
I'm gonna show him real quick.
Your car to your studio room.
I'm showing them real quick this plugin. Just real quick, this Metric AB by Adapter Plugin Alliance.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There's a bunch of them. There's some really good ones out there.
But yeah, not to interrupt your question, bro. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was perfect. I appreciate it. Nah, man, like mixing in the car has been something I found like helps out so much, man. Like me and my friends just hop in the car and just low key make the whole song in the car, record, mix everything.
Hell yeah. Hey, I used to do that shit all the time.
It sounds crazy, so yeah, that definitely helps, and for sure. But really, I was trying to get the best I could get out of my room, man. Like I got like an Apollo Twin, and I got like the Slate digital mic, and like some KRKs. That's really all I got, and I kind of like produce myself on all my own shit and just kind of try to build it up in the room. But I've been getting better and better every day. I just kind of wanted to see if you had like any specific advice. So I really appreciate you, bro. We'll talk.
Hey man, my pleasure. Yeah, just learn the equipment the best that you can, and then when you're at a point when you know your equipment and you use it to the fullest extent, then you upgrade and
Would you get rid of those KRKs?
Would I?
No, I'm asking Dakota.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of KRKs personally. I
Wow.
like the KRK sub, but the monitors to me for what I do, I think they're more like a production
got you.
monitor because they're very exaggerated.
Yeah.
Got you. So maybe some HSAs or maybe even some folk house.
I think Yamahas are flatter, which is I think it's kind of more what you're looking for.
Okay.
In a prosumer monitor for sure. I like the Yamahas over the KRKs, but that's not to say that you can't learn the KRKs. You just need to learn how they translate to other mediums.
Understood. All right, man. I really appreciate you, bro. Thanks for answering questions, bro. Shout out to you too.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you tapping in, bro.
Always, man. Peace and love.
Yes, sir. Joe D. Let's get Joe D in here. Joey D. He had texted me. Make sure you connect that audio, Joe, if you can hear us. Maybe some people they join the Zoom in the beginning and then they like walk away from their phone, so they don't even realize that they're. Are you here, Joe?
Connected.
I can't tell if he connected. All right, well, shit. I'll give you a second to get it together. I'm gonna go ahead and add someone else in, Joe. Let's get it. There's another Joe.
Yeah, you got to follow up Joe with another Joe or something.
All right.
Another Joe.
Yeah, you got to follow up Joe with another Joe or something.
All right.
Oh. Did I did I get rid of I think I just got rid of Dakota, my bad. I didn't mean to do that.
Did I did I get
Oops. Wrong screen. Let me get you. My bad, Dakota.
Oh, you're fine. No, all right.
wrong screen? Let me get you.
There you go. All right, so I guess Joe E, since you're here, man, and you were here first, I guess we'll just run with you first. Can you hear us, Joe? Oh, you didn't get your audio right yet, huh? All right, well, I'll go ahead and give you a second to get it together. Joe Sarf, man, go ahead, man. Welcome to the morning show. Yo.
Cool.
I'm confused at which person is about to be.
It's Joe Sarf. Well, Joe E, man, go ahead and get your audio together. But what's good, Joe? I know there's two Joes, but this is the most confusing part ever. Yeah. Yellow Hat Joe.
Well, a lot of the questions that you asked, Dylan, and some of the other guys in the room really answered a lot of things that I had. So I don't know if I have anything more than maybe a question regarding advice.
Okay.
For guys trying to get into the game that maybe haven't gone to school or are just trying to elevate from being a producer to more of an engineer type. What would you suggest for that?
I mean, biggest thing is definitely just work with people around you for sure that you believe in. That's number one. Two, if you are trying to get into a studio and trying to get an internship, then being relentless in the sense of, respectfully knocking on the door until they let you in type of thing. Just finding a way to give value to somebody in that building that, will give you the time of day and get you an internship.
So would you suggest
we can hear you, Joe,
finding the right
just
balance
give us
of bringing them work or?
It could be. Yeah, for sure. It could be, getting clients and stuff in there. But then again, that can also be a conflict of interest sometimes. If you're booking the session, you're booking the studio, and then you're trying to intern there. Sometimes studios don't really like they don't like to mix those two things.
Okay. So in addition to that, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I want to let the other guys that have questions ask them. So, hey, man, thank you for your time.
Hey, man, my pleasure.
Yes,
Appreciate you tapping in, bro. All right, Joe E, man.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, bro.
What's going on, man?
Not much. What's good? What's good?
What's good, man? Welcome to the morning show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, just wanted to like ask like one or two questions because like one of my questions was
for sure.
Like for somebody who's starting off getting into the whole thing for engineering, who is a kind of like a starting off producer who started from going from church playing live instruments to now doing digital.
It's a great background to have, though.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Like any like pointers or anything you might be able to throw my way?
I would say the biggest thing is to pick a software that you wanna attack. Because all of these digital audio workstations are very similar, but it's just a matter of layout and functionality that can separate them. But pick something that you want to learn. Start playing around with your stock sounds, stuff like that, and go and emulate things that you like. Go try to remake some beats of songs that you like, and figure out along the way, figure out different functionalities of the program, and how to get certain things to sound a certain way. You can I feel like starting now is a lot easier than starting say 10 years ago, because now, like I said, you have resources crazy where you can get sound kits and you can get really great samples to start from, and the amount of VSTs and things that are available are endless. So just start simple, start learning with the basics, and then expand and start growing your library of sounds and VSTs and things like that, because you can you'll see how the the rabbit hole can be. You can go down that hole and all of a sudden you get all these tools and you don't know how to use any of them.
Facts. All right, thank you. The other question is for somebody who's like, because I do all my own mixing and mastering for like a lot of my beats, and I just recently started getting better. For the LMSing, because I just started hearing that part of the conversation, what's like a good dB level?
So,
like,
I think you're talking about, you're talking about the LUFS. So I always shoot for like -10, -8. That's usually where I'm shooting for. I think the best thing to do is to really like use your ears and don't get too infatuated with the the metering as much early on.
All right. Thank you. That was like really about the only two questions I got. But
you're welcome. Anytime, man.
Appreciate you tapping in, bro.
Every day.
Jay Myth, what's good, bro? Henny boy, I see you. Okay, I see you finally made it, Henny boy. He was just talking about last night how he goes to sleep at 3, so he never is able to wake up for the morning show. Cool, man.
I got one thing to add that I don't think I talked about yet.
Okay.
But one thing I will say is in this day and age, right? I know a lot of people are starting to come up now, and like when I was in college and going into like internship, I would just scour Twitter looking for like hashtags like mixing, mastering, whatever, and I pay my rent a lot of times just getting clients just through social media like that. Well, nowadays I think that it's great to be able to offer value to somebody, but there's alternate ways that you can be compensated for your services. Whereas like now you got DistroKid, you could do royalty splits. You don't have to say like, hey, this is the biggest pigeonhole people can get into, is like, hey, it's free. Like, I'm gonna record you for free, I'm gonna mix this for free, whatever. Because once it's free, they're probably never gonna pay you. So if you start out by saying, okay, like, hey, this is whatever, this is what I charge, even though you're probably bullshitting and you're not worth a penny at that point, you could say like, what I'll do is, I'll take 10%, on the mechanicals and on the performance for, the track. And in that independent situation, now you walk away with something, because even if that song does nothing, that person knows that they compensated you. They gave you something for it. You know what I'm saying? And even when you're in a situation when you're working with some bigger independent artists, You know, you could still be at a point where you could say, hey, you know, artists is, you know, you really believe in them. That's the biggest thing, is believing in people. And you say like, hey, I want to invest in you, instead of, you know, paying my full rate, like, you know, let's do this. So then you can have some money to put into promotion and, you know, get the video done and things like that. And, you know, everybody still wins. And hey, down the line, that artist might take off, right? And you might have nothing to show for it if you just did everything for free. But now if you had that 10%, guess who it's coming back to?
Come back to me, right? Basically.
For sure, yeah, it's going to come back to whoever, you know, if you're the engineer in the situation and you took 10% on that song, you know, going forward, you're going to get paid out that 10% as long as, you know, for your lifetime plus 75 years. So
to add to that, I notice a lot of engineers, like, they kind of start to do production work on these songs, especially if they're like, you know, doing change ups to the beat and stuff like that. But, you know, typically the model is the engineer just don't get, you know, part of the royalty. They don't get part of the publishing. What are your thoughts on that? Is there a point when it kind of starts to make sense for them to get that kind of?
I think, yeah, I think definitely. I think I'm a big believer in teamwork. You know, everybody is equally important in the situation, because without one or the other, you don't get the final product the way that it comes out, you know? So if, as a engineer, if I start resequencing things and, like, you know, making production changes, you know, it would make sense to be credited as a producer, in some type of, you know, whatever the you know, some type of form. But a lot of times we do it and we're not credited or compensated, but it's for the better of the song. If it makes the music better, I'm not worried about getting, you know, production credit or you know, a percentage for that contribution.
Right, because, you know, if that song does really well, you're gonna get more clients. The word of mouth is gonna spread. Like, people want to work with you.
Exactly, 100%. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've been playing point for a long time without even thinking about it, and just connecting people. I've always just had, you know, I've always just wanted people to win. The people around me, I've always just wanted to connect them in any which way I could. So I started a production company. Like, quarantine really did it for me. It made me open my eyes to, like, shit, I've been doing this for so long and I haven't even thought about it. Like, last May was the first project I ever did that I got a percentage on, and it was with Kato. Okay. And Kato was like, hey, I got this new artist, this artist named 30. He's a young kid. He's 18 years old. I really believe in the music. He doesn't have a lot of money right now, but, like, if you like the music and, you know, you want to invest in it, like, we'll give you a percentage. So I took a listen to the music, and I really like what I heard. And flash forward now, like, maybe when we started, he had, like, you know, somewhere like maybe a few thousand monthly listeners. Flash forward now, that project has over 1 million streams.
Wow. Fire.
You know what I'm saying? So you just never know. And he's a person I work with to this day on all of his releases for the most part, you know? So
what's the name so we can look him up?
His name's 30.
30 Rock?
30?
30, yep.
No, not 30 Rock. 30 Rock's a producer.
Yeah, I was like really confused for a second. I was like, oh, wait.
So I definitely, I worked with 30 Rock too. My homie Caleb Brown, we locked in with him for some of the things he's been doing.
Dope. Cool. Well, shoot, man. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, man, but we appreciate your time this morning. We appreciate you, you know, being willing to pass on the knowledge and hear your story, man. It's definitely been motivating, inspiring, and educational all at the same time, bro.
That's what I'm here for, man. I just want to, you know, keep pushing things forward, because I've been blessed to have people push it forward to me. So anything I can do to you know, maybe if I have something that is going to benefit the next person, I'm not afraid to give it out. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the mentality that we have to have. And yeah, man, I'm excited. We got a lot of projects in the works right now. I just wanted to plug this real quick. About a year ago, I started when I was saying connecting artists and stuff. One of my best friends, Zach, who I told you about the internship, he goes by Metabeats, the producer. but he also became he's an engineer too. Like he would engineer for a lot of artists at Silent Sound, and he wants to be a producer. So I said, hey, like let's just get in the studio with some artists that I've connected with, and let's just make our own music. We'll put it out organically together, and we started doing that last year with this artist Wave Chappelle, who was formerly signed to CMG with Yo Gotti. Okay. And I connected with him through the blog when I had Hip Hop Herald. His publicist at the time, she was like, "Hey, I got this artist that just moved to Atlanta. Like, do you mind taking a meeting with him?" And we met, and I really liked his music, and that was the start of it. We started, just clicking. We booked Parhelion, record everything, Meta Beats produce everything, and now we've had 3 releases so far. We did Headed West was our first one, Mob, and then we just dropped the remix with Ted Park, who's another artist that I do a lot of work with, and then Ishtar, another really dope artist. And from the every release that we've done, we've had growth. Like the first release might have did like 3,000-4,000 streams, where this last one, it's been a month and it's over 20,000 streams. So that's why I say over time you get to be in a position where you can do things that are passion. You do things out of passion versus just doing it for a check. And I'm just blessed to be in that situation where, I'm finally getting to, do that on the scale that we're doing it,
100%, bro.
Appreciate
that passion work.
That's how it is, man. That's
man.
Exactly how it is.
Like Joe said, man, we appreciate all the gems, man. Appreciate your time, like I said, and we definitely got to stay connected, bro.
Appreciate y'all for real, man. It was a great conversation. I'm happy that I was able to talk to you and the community and kind of tell my story.
100%, bro. All right, my guy. So yeah, I'll tap back in with you, man. We got to definitely stay tapped in, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll see you at Parhelion for sure.
Bet it up, man.
All right, bro.
All right,
Take
bro.
care.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chat gang, what's going on, man? Dope episode in the books. Albie says best interview so far. Man, okay. That's lit. That's lit. Yeah, I haven't J Myth, I've heard the name Wave Chappelle, but I haven't actually tapped into the music. No, I don't got a piss today, which is surprising. You know what's crazy is I thought about that shit like 30 minutes ago. I was like, yo, it's like, because usually that shit starts kicking in like around like if we do a 2-hour interview around like 11:30, I'm like, bro, I gotta piss. My legs are shaking and shit, like trying to not think about pissing and shit like that. But nah, I'm good. So that's why I was like, shit, let me kick it in the chat real quick. So yeah, beat battle tonight, man. Who's pulling up to the beat battle? Definitely drop some hundreds in the chat if you guys are pulling up to the beat battle tonight. It's gonna be fire. Oh yeah, so I did say I was gonna announce if you made it into the beat battle or not. So as long as you submitted, so at first we were gonna do 100, and then I was like, fuck it, let's do 150. But now I'm feeling 200, man, because we had right around last night at around like 8 p.m. when I checked it, we had like exactly 200 submissions. So as long as you submitted by yesterday at 8 p.m., you're in, bro. So we're gonna do 200, and I think a couple people sent a few, so it'll be a little less than 200. So that shit's probably gonna take like 2 to 3 hours to get through all of them. But yeah, so as long as you submitted by yesterday at 8 p.m., you will be in the battle. You will be in the runnings to win the grand prize of $250 Cash App or PayPal to you immediately at the end of the stream once we pick the winner. And we'll also give away some other stuff. I gotta think what prize 2 and prize 3 will be. So make sure you guys pull up to for second place and third place prize. Make sure you guys pull up tonight at the beat battle, 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is exactly 6 hours from now. So whatever time zone you're in, 6 hours from now, pull up. Doesn't matter what time zone you're in, what country you're in. You're in the beat battle. You're in the ranks to win. If you don't got Cash App or PayPal, I guess we'll have to figure out another way to get you the 250 if you win, because I know not all countries have Cash App and PayPal. But yeah, so I'm excited for the battle tonight. Man, I got my money on Myth though, man. I got my money on Myth. He won second place in the first loop contest that I was a part of, and then he won first place last time. So I don't know, man. You guys are gonna have to bring it, and it's freestyle, so it's not like Myth was limited to using a certain loop. So man, who knows what the hell Myth sent in, bro? So I'm nervous for everybody else, man. If Myth is part of it, man, you might want to just stay away. But nah, I'm just kidding. Appreciate all you guys. Definitely hope to see everyone. I'll obviously be there in the Zoom. If you guys want to join the Zoom chat, just like how we do a Zoom call in the morning show, we do Zoom calls during the beat battle, and we usually end up getting like 12 to 15 people in the Zoom call, all on the screen at the same time. So it's a lot of fun. If you did not submit a beat and you want to be part of the guest judges, if you want to be a guest judge, shoot me a text, 404-737-1304. Be like, hey bro, I want to be a guest judge tonight. We want to get some judges from the community, because it's always dope to get some outside outside of the team guys, from the community to judge. But if you are in the loop, if you are in the contest, you can't be a judge, because that would be unfair, because you probably give yourself 100, but 100 out of 100. But yeah, so if you're not part of the battle and you want to be a guest judge, definitely shoot me a text, sooner than later, and let me know so we can line that up. But yeah, beat battle tonight. Somebody's gonna walk away with $250. Somebody's gonna be $250 richer. You can go buy shit. $250. You could buy a nice new MIDI board. You could buy I think you could almost buy like Nexus 3. What else could you buy, man? You could buy I think you could buy an MPC Studio with maybe just a little bit more money. Man, you could buy a whole bunch of shit. You can go on ProducerGrind and go crazy. You can buy a lot of kits. And then you can also save it in Friday. You know what I mean? Friday's merch day. Friday we're dropping merch, man. It's gonna be crazy. We got release stuff that we released before, like Beatmaker hoodies, Beatmaker t-shirts, and a whole bunch of different colorways, plus some new colorways. We got Team Producer Grind hoodies will finally be out. Team Producer Grind t-shirts. And not even just this logo. We got some other we got another t-shirt. It won't be Team Producer Grind on the front, but it's still the Team Producer Grind t-shirt. We got mouse pads, never before released mouse pads. We got coffee mugs. Not the Gem Plug mug. This one's mine. This one's mine. Nobody can have this one yet. Yeah, so we got coffee mugs, man. What else we got? It's gonna be fire. So shout out to everyone that's gonna be tapped in Friday. Early gang. If you're here Friday, I'll give you guys a special discount too, an early gang discount. So make sure you tap in on the morning show Friday. Friday we got another interview too. So I'll be announcing who that is soon. And yeah, man, battle tonight. J-Man said I can wear 2XL now, my boy. Okay, bet that's easy, because I was actually gonna. I know I still owe you a hoodie. I just haven't ordered it yet. Haven't special ordered it, because I was gonna just order it when I order all the stuff for the merch drop Friday. So yeah, it's gonna be lit. Shout out to everyone that's gonna tap in with the merch. I know you guys have been begging for that shit. A lot of you guys have been begging for it, so we're excited to definitely release it. We only open the gates a couple times a year on the merch. So if you got Beatmaker merch, you're super exclusive. You know what I mean? It's not like anyone can get that shit at any time. But yeah, I think that's all I got, man. Hope to see you guys in the the Beatmaker hoodies are definitely dropping Friday. Beatmaker hoodies, Beatmaker t-shirts, Team Producer Grind hoodies, Team Producer Grind t-shirts, mouse pads, coffee mugs. I know I'm forgetting something too. Oh, stickers. The stickers will be back. So I'm definitely excited, guys. But yeah, that's all I got for today. That's all I got. Exclusive gang, you dig?